Hey, Nichole Huntsman here. All right, I am here to help you figure out what to buy for that person on your list this year. That's a tricky, tough one to find presents for. So what we're going to do, we are going to take a peek at this person, or maybe it's you, or maybe it's someone maybe it's your whole family. You want to sit down with a notepad and make a list here. Instead of looking at the person's sun sign, we're going to look at their moon sign. So for those of you who are new to astrology, if you're saying, what is a moon sign? Go to astro.com and go to their extended chart selection, and you can create a birth chart for yourself. You just need your birth date, of course, your birth time, and the city. So if you don't have the birth time, that's okay. You can go ahead and put your birth date in with a noon birth time. But because the moon changes signs every about 2.5 days, there's a good chance that your moon, it's possibly you were born on a day it changed signs. So birth certificate time, written time, those are always preferable, okay? Now, why are we going to use the moon? Why not use, I don't know, Mercury or someone's Venus maybe? Now, a couple of reasons. First of all, a person's moon, if you think about the moon as an object, as a celestial object, it's, of course, the closest to us here on Earth, meaning from our perspective, it's the quickest. And it does obviously make its rotation every about, lunar month for us, and so around the Earth. So it's quick, so that makes it more personal. That moment you were born, it's not just the date you were born, but it's the time and the location. It's kind of a little freeze frame of the fabric of space-time. It sort of freezes it right in that moment, and you walk into existence, and you become a conscious, well, babies are sort of unconscious, but you become a part of the fabric of existence. When you take that first breath, you separate from the mother. So moon, it is the part of us, I believe, that is developed while we are in the mother's womb. Once I think the brain has developed enough to sort of hear sounds, or perhaps to feel primary emotions. From mothers stressed while pregnant, I would imagine that things like adrenaline and cortisol that are in her blood stream might also cross over the placental barrier and enter the baby's bloodstream. So like the mother's sort of emotional state maybe may perhaps affect the baby's development, but then also when that baby is born, they're unconscious, right? So like the tabula rasa idea, I suppose. The world around them, they're learning every day new things, and they're learning when they have discomfort or pain, how does the world respond? And of course, our first primary caregiver tends to be the mother. So your moon is developed in a sense, you're born during a certain time. The moon you were born under, it's just the moon you were born under, right? It's like a clock. So your mother wasn't necessarily like an Aries, or literally an Aries if you have an Aries moon, but the way you perceived your emotional needs being met by this initial, caregiver, it's going to be seen through an Aryan lens. Okay, so that being said, the moon in a person's chart shows you how that person unconsciously, from a very deep rooted, psychologically rooted place as a human, how they experience existence. And the human experience, of course, is tied to emotion, right? We know that memories that we have that tend to stick with us longer are those when we have adrenaline, or we have a flood of adrenaline because it's a scary experience, and that imprints the memory on our brain. So point being, emotion is really powerful, and if you can find a gift for somebody that speaks to that part of that person, voila. All right, so that's my sort of preamble. Go to astro.com. You can pause this, go to astro.com. I'll put a link below. So you're shopping for a Capricorn moon. You've got an individual who, when it comes to emotional expression and sort of what makes them feel safe, the moon's not at its most comfy, cozy place in the sign of Capricorn. But then again, the moon's not really, there's not an easy placement for the moon. It doesn't exist because the moon's the human condition. It's experiencing emotion, which is good, bad, and everything in between. And from this place inside of us that has to do with when we were totally dependent upon another human being and completely vulnerable. All right. So Capricorn, because this is the father archetype, it's the opposite of Cancer, the moon's natural sign. You have Saturn's recognition that there are rules in life, that discipline is important, that you might feel sad, you little boy, but you got to toughen up and be a little stoic soldier and keep a stiff upper lip. repress those feelings. Or, yeah, it's cold outside. Too bad. We have to go finish bringing in all the firewood. Or whatever, whatever sort of contemporary example you can think of. Work first, play later. Plan your work, work your plan. That kind of thing. That's Capricorn moon material. They feel safe. They feel good there. They like knowing I strove to accomplish something. And I didn't let myself have all of the fun little things that other people, I wasn't a softie. I went all in and I was disciplined and I accomplished my goal. That is a moon in Capricorn thing. That's a moon in the 10th house thing. They're very hard on themselves when it comes to being emotionally vulnerable. So when a partner comes along who allows them to feel safe and to feel, I need you to be the strong one for me, I appreciate and respect the way that you have such amazing discipline, the way that you care for me, the way that you, fill in the blank. What is it that they sacrifice? What sort of level of excellence do they reach for and strive for in their life that inspires you to be a better version of yourself? Focus on that. Don't focus on, sometimes Capricorn moons get beat up and it's like, oh, they're judgmental or they are difficult, taciturn, cold, and they can be. They can be judgmental as hell. Trust me, I have a son with a moon in Capricorn. I've dated someone with a moon in Capricorn. They can be very parental and even there's a vindictive quality. Capricorn feels like their expectations have been let down. They close themselves off and they can be mean. Okay? But that's only because it's a part of them that's hurt. It's because they have pushed down and repressed the parts of themselves that are vulnerable that need. They've made that little part stop crying. Shut up. You don't need anything. They've pushed it down. So in their relationships with other people, they get frustrated when they see other people getting away with stuff that they didn't get to get away with or they didn't let themselves get away with, right? So lots of times buying gifts for Capricorn moon can be a little tricky. They're not really big into gifts usually. It's not always their thing. That depends on the whole chart. But they're kind of more, they know what they like and they usually have high expectations and particular expectations. So if they've got a personal hobby or they like a type of, car or type of clothing or a type of furniture, whatever it is, let them pick it or find out in advance if they've been researching this, I'm looking at my camera, they've been researching this camera for months and they've been sort of not quite sure if they want to buy it or not, but it's like the best camera. If you can afford it, buy it for them. More than that though, I feel like a Capricorn moon likes to feel a sense of you recognizing those times when they have sacrificed for a goal. It could be a personal goal. A mom who stayed at home, didn't get her college degree, and then finally her kids moved out, and she also went to college, when her kids were going to college, and ended up getting her PhD. And she accomplished this huge goal. She climbed up that mountain for herself. Go get her certificate framed or do something that's sort of, if you got the money, redo the basement bedroom for her, turn into her home office, or the kind of thing that supports and recognizes the hard work and effort and discipline she's put into or he's put into their goal, or the sacrifices they've made for those that they love. A lot of times Capricorn moon mothers are the ones that show up when other parents don't, and they can be, the shadow side is they can be judgmental of other parents. They can have their own expectations that they might put on others. So that's their own thing. But if you can find anything that communicates to them, and it could be a letter. It doesn't have to be anything long or fancy, but specific incidences where that person showed up for you, or you saw them show up for another person, or show up at work, or do something with their life in such a way that maybe other people thought they were crazy for, let's say they're in fitness, and so other people thought they were crazy for their goals and for working out as much as they did, or for eating as regimented as they did, but you could see the vision and you respected it and it was inspiring and it inspired you and other people. That kind of thing. Letting them know you have respect for them and that you see the excellence that they have achieved in their lives, or if they're on their road, helping them to get to that place of accomplishment. Okay. The other thing, moon in Capricorns can be mean. Put it plain. When they're mad, they can be very just direct. They've learned how to with their emotions kind of control and cajole their own feelings sometimes, or their expression at least, that they can expect the same of others. So I don't feel like giving a gift in a way that's really uber sentimental or mushy it's not very comfortable many times for a Capricorn moon. So that's why letters are better. Or let's say they love a particular comic, how would you call that, a series of comics, and you found a vintage, one of a kind, like a collector's edition. Any kind of collector's edition, if that's what they're into, perfect. Get it framed or get it signed, even better. Anything that is going to attach this person to excellence, or fame, or kind of someone else who reached the pinnacle. There's this, Capricorns want to be associated with that person. This person's the best in their field. I want to be thought of in the same kind of light. I want to receive that same respect from my peers. So anything you can think of, if it's something really cool for their office, that maybe they've had trophies, or they've, a lot of times Capricorn moons are more humble. They're not always, but maybe getting those things put in a case or presented to them in such a way that other people can see them, but they weren't the one that put it there, donating money in their name, but they weren't the ones that sort of donated in the name of, so-and-so, that kind of thing. Again, there's also a side with Capricorn, a Capricorn moon, where they can be quite the opposite, and they can have this no interest in being recognized by others. As the hermit quality, but they have their personal aims and goals that they are staunchly committed to. And so let's say it makes me think of I always think of monks when I think of Capricorn, when they're handwriting manuscripts and then they're illuminating the edges, doing it with such detail, and it takes time, and they're sitting in these cold rooms, and they have very minimal they've got a little simple bed and a blanket and the clothes on their back, right? That scarcity, I suppose. But like finding some way to celebrate that. Just my thoughts on that. And if you can think of anything else, let me know. But those are the thoughts that I've had so far. All right. So I hope that was helpful for you. And of course, last but not least, for your friend, whatever their moon placement is, astrology reading is always a great way to help a person better understand themselves. And so I'm actually doing a little sale here to celebrate 2019 that's coming up. We've got a lot of big changes with Uranus, of course, ingressing back into Taurus. He popped his head in there this last year. He's kind of hanging out back in Aries right now. But he'll be back in Taurus, and he's not going to go back into Aries again. A lot of big changes this next year for people when it comes to the structure in their world that gives them a sense of security. Job security, relationship security, financial security. Lots of themes that if the old way of doing things, that's changing when it comes to how you invest your money or how you buy a house. And my good friend was saying she thinks there's going to be a lot more barter and trade and jobs. The job market's going to be shifting, and we've got a global economy that we're all dealing with. Technology shifts and changes. So point being, this next year is a big year. And if you thought that 2018 was a little tricky, me personally, I don't even remember 2018. I'm like, wait, what? Hold on. I still feel like it's January, kind of a crazy year. 2019 has some unique challenges. It's got some beautiful pieces too. Every year there's no good nor bad. But I'd be happy to help you navigate those, like how personally it might show up in your life, as well as people that you love and care about. So I'm doing they're 40-minute forecasts. They're shorter, kind of mini forecasts, which frankly, it's more concentrated. So we'll do a look at your progress chart, and then we'll do a look at your solar return chart. I do it in 2 sections. It's a little video recording just like this, addressed to you, and it's uploaded onto a private or an unlisted YouTube playlist for you to watch. So it's and then you can ask me questions if you have any. Let me know if you're interested, and the way you do that, you go to my website, and on the website you can see the calendar, the schedule. You can pick the time. The time is not exact necessarily. It's just because I can only take so many people per day. So at the end of the day, you get your link and you get your video that you can watch. You can pay for it there on the website. You pay for it. You do it all. It's very easy. And I take credit cards, debit cards, all that normal good stuff, PayPal, etc. It's very easy, and hopefully it's something where we can do a little work together. It can make your upcoming year be something that you're prepared for the weather. You got your umbrella or your boots. or your tank top, what have you. Okay, hope you all have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Festivus. If you don't celebrate, whatever it is, stay safe, and thank you so much for all of your support on my channel. And this has been a real wild ride. Okay, take care. All right, bye-bye.